All right, so 14.1, guys, talks about voting methods. And so we're going to figure out what this means here. And so let's go ahead and go through the example and see if we can't figure it out. It says 4 students are running for president of the Honor Society: Antoine, Betty, Camille, and Don. The club members were asked to rank all candidates, and the resulting preference table for this election is given in the table here. Okay, so we want to know part A, number 1. How many students voted in this election? Okay, so if we wanted to find the number of students who voted in the election, all we would do is we would take those numbers there: 19, 15, 11, 7, and 2. And we'd really take those numbers and add them up. I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick on my calculator here. So 19 plus 15 plus 11 plus 7 plus 2. And so I'm coming up with 54. Okay. Part B says, how many students selected candidates in this order? C, A, D, and B. So it has to be that particular order: C, A, D, and B. C, A, D, and B. It looks like for part B there were 15. Okay. And part C says, how many students selected C as their first choice? So these here are the first choice. We want to know how many of them had C. Well, those had C as their first choice, so that's 15 and 2. So 15 plus 2 would give me a total of 17. Okay. So let me keep scrolling a little bit here. And we're going to go to something that we call the plurality method. Okay, and it says, plurality method says each voter votes for one candidate. The candidate receiving the most votes is declared the winner. Okay, so whoever gets the most votes is going to be the winner. So give me one quick second so I can tally some of these numbers up. Okay, so when we're doing our tally here, guys, what we're really doing is we're just counting the number of first place votes. Okay, so remember, we have each of the candidates. We have Anton, Betty, Camille, and Don. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to count how many first place votes each of these individuals received. Okay, so it looks like Anton got 7 first place votes. Betty got 19 first place votes. Camille got 15 and 2, which we said was 17. And Don received 11. So by the plurality method here, Betty would be our winner, right? She's the one who received the most first place votes, okay? So I'm going to keep scrolling. And because the idea here, guys, there's different ways that we can sort of run this election, okay? All right, so there's something called the Borda count method. So it says, the Borda count method says, voters rank candidates from the most favorable to the least favorable. And it says, each last place vote gets 1 point. The one right before last place gets 2 points. The one right before that gets 3 points, so on and so forth. And then we say the candidate who receives the most number of points is going to be the winner of the election. Okay? So, the way I'm going to go ahead and do this is I'm going to put all my people sort of in order here, okay? So let's do it this way. Let's look at Anton. Oops, let me get my pen working again. Keeps freezing up on me. There we go. Betty, Camille, and Don. Okay. So, Anton, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for the A's. In last place, does Anton have any votes? No. But he does have 11 and 2. He has 13 third place votes. Well, so let's put it this way, guys. Fourth place is going to get 1 point. Third place is going to get 2 points. Second place is going to get 3 points. First place is going to get 4 points. So Anton does not have any fourth place votes, but he does have 13 third place votes. Each third place votes is worth 2 points. Okay. Second place, Anton has 19 and 15. So let me see, if I add 19 and 15 together, that gives me 34. Okay. Second place votes get 3 points. And first place votes, Anton has a total of 7 of them. And each first place vote is worth 4 points. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take those numbers and start tallying them up, okay? So let me grab my calculator here so y'all can see what I'm doing. All right, let's turn this thing on. Let's move them over here a little bit, clear it out. Okay, so I'm going to take 13 times 2. So 13 times, oops, not plus, 13 times 2 plus 34 times 3 plus 7 times 4 equals, and I'm coming up with 156. So Anton has 156 points. Okay. Now, I'm going to do the same thing for Betty. Okay. So Betty, I'm going to count all of her last place votes. Well, all of these right here are Betty's. So 15, 11, 7, and 2. I got to add those numbers up together. So let's see, 15 plus 11 plus 7 plus 2. That gave me 35. Okay, so she has 35 first place or fourth place votes. Remember, fourth place votes are worth 1 point. It doesn't look like she has any third or second place votes, but then she does have 19 first place votes. Okay. And so I'm going to go ahead and tally these numbers up as well. So let me get my calculator again. Clear that out. So 35, times 1 plus 19 times 4. Okay, it's 111. 111 is how many Betty has. Okay. Now, let's do the same thing for Camille. So I'm going to kind of clean up some of this mess here, guys, so I can look for Camille here, okay? So Camille does not have any last place votes. She has 19 and 7, that's 26 third place votes, which are 2 points each. She has 11 second place votes, which are 3 points each. And she has 15 and 2, 17 in first place. And again, I'm going to tally those numbers up. Tally those numbers up and see what we get. So I'm going to go 26 times 2 plus 11 times 3 plus 17 times 4. Okay, and I'm coming up with 153. So Camille has 153. And we finally have Dawn, okay? So let's look for Dawn and see what we end up with. Okay, so Dawn. Dawn here has 19 fourth place votes. Dawn also has 15 third place votes. And he has, let's go through these here, 7 and 2, 9 second place votes. And he has 11, not an equals, but a plus. 11 first place votes. Let me fix that. Looks a little messy. Even messier. There we go. Times 4. Okay, equals. All right. So again, guys, I'm going to grab my calculator to do this part of the calculation. So I'm just going to move this over so that we can see everything. So I'm going to go 19 times 1 plus 15 times 2 plus 9 times 3 plus 11 times 4 equals 120. So I'm coming up with 120. Okay. And so now we're going to say Who has the highest number of votes? It appears as Antoine has the highest number of votes at 156. So by the Borda count method, Antoine would be the winner. I want you to notice something. Look at Betty. Look at Betty's votes. Betty had the least number of votes using the Borda count method, but when we did the problem before using the plurality method, Betty would have won, right? So the point that this exercise is trying to illustrate is that Betty may have had the most first place votes, but Betty also had the most last place votes, and that's why using the Borda count method, Betty was in last place, okay? So it's not always about who got the most first place votes, okay? The whole point of this is to illustrate that there are different ways of doing it, and there's advantages to particular ways, okay? All right. So there is a second problem here, and it's called the plurality with elimination. And the plurality with elimination method says each voter votes for one candidate if a candidate receives a majority of the votes. So guys, I want to mention something. A majority does not mean the most votes. A majority means that you have more than 50% of the votes, okay? Means you have more than 50% of the votes. All right, it says if no candidate receives a majority, we're going to eliminate the candidate with the fewest votes, and we're going to hold another election. It says if there's a tie for the fewest votes, eliminate all candidates tied for the fewest votes. And then we're going to keep going through this process until a candidate receives a majority. Okay, so I'm going to explain how we're going to do this problem here. First thing is we need to know, in this case here, what would the majority mean? If you remember from the first problem we did, we took all the number of people that voted, right? Which was 19 plus 15 plus 11 plus 7 plus 2. And if I scroll up, I'll tell you how many we came up with. It was 52 or 54, something like that. 54, okay, was what we came up with. So when we added everybody up, we came up with 54 votes. To find the majority, I'm going to divide this number by 2, which is 27. That would be exactly half. A majority would mean somebody needs to get 28 votes because it has to be more than half, more than 50%. So if somebody only got 27 votes, they did not receive a majority. They got half. Majority means you got more than half, okay? So we're going to go through this process. If you remember when we did the plurality method, what we did was we said, okay, we're going to count like this. Betty, I'll tell you what, I'll put them in alphabetical order. We have Antoine, Betty, Camille, and Don. And we're going to look at the number of first place votes that each person received, okay? So Antoine received 7 votes. Betty received 19 votes. Camille received 15 and 2, which was 17 votes. And Don received 11 votes, okay? So remember, the majority here would be 28. Well, nobody got 28. So what we do is we say, we're going to find the person who got the least number of votes. In this case, it's Antoine. And we're going to get rid of Antoine. What I mean by we're going to get rid of Antoine is I'm going to make a brand new table again. Number of votes, okay? Oops, it doesn't look like a very pretty votes. Votes, here we go, okay. And the numbers are going to stay the same, 19, 15, 11, 7, and 2. And I'm going to go first, okay, second, third. Guys, we are not going to have a fourth, okay? So what I'm going to do is everywhere we used to have the letter A for Antoine, I'm going to scratch those out. So I'm going to get rid of this A here. I'm going to get rid of these A's here. Okay, so what I want you to notice is that these here are going to stay the same. That's still going to be B, C, D. These guys here are going to get shifted up. What I mean by that, that will be D, that will be C, okay? These guys here are also going to get shifted up. So there'll be a C here and a D here. There'll be a D here and a B here. Let's see, that C will stay there. Since we shifted this up, this will be a C, and this will remain a D, okay? Let's see. The last one here is going up, so that'll be a B. And so let's see, we have D, C, this is a B, and this is also a B. So all I did is just shift up the ones where the A's used to be, those votes now got shifted up, okay? And so I'm going to do this process again, okay? So I'm going to go through this again. Now notice, when I do it the second time, I'm only looking at the letters B, C, and D, and I'm still counting the first place votes. So I'm still counting these here, okay? So Betty still received 19 votes. Camille still had 17 votes, and Don now has 18 votes. Remember, my majority was somebody needs to get 28 votes or more. Well, you know what? Nobody's getting 28 votes. So I'm going to look and say, which is the one that has the least number? Well, Camille had the least number, okay? I'm going to make another table. So guys, I'm going to try to make this table a little bit smaller just because I'm running out of room. Number of votes, okay? And I'm still going to keep my same numbers. So I'm going to go 19, 15, 11, 7, and 2. The one thing I want to mention about this, remember, we used to have 4 candidates and we got rid of one, so we had 3 candidates. We're getting rid of another one. So now we're only going to have 2 candidates, first place and second place, okay? So remember what we said, we're getting rid of all the C's. Everywhere I see a letter C, it's going to go away. Everything else is going to get shifted up, okay? So this is still going to be a B right here. Let me do it in red so it's a little easier to see, okay? These 2 are getting shifted up. So that will be a D and then a B. This is going to stay, this is going to stay, so that'll be a D, a D. This one is coming up, which is going to be the D. Let's see, the bottom down here is still D. Let's see, this is going up, this is going up. So we have B, B, and B, okay? So now I'm going to count. And I'm kind of running out of room, so I'm going to do it over here. A little bit on the side. All right. So first place votes. Betty still has 19 first place votes. Don has 15, 11, 7, and 2. So 15 and 11 is 26. 26 and 7 is 33. 33 and another 2 would be 35. That is a majority vote because it's 28 or more. And so Don would be the winner by the plurality with elimination method. Okay, so guys, I'm going to back up a little bit here just so you can see this is called the plurality with elimination method. Okay, so really what it is if whoever's in last place, you're out of the election, and we just basically keep holding runoff elections until we get somebody that has a majority of those first place votes. Okay, so let's see if we can figure out how to do this next problem here. I'm going to try to go through it slowly so we can make sense out of it. All right, and it says logo choice. Employees of Brighton Summer Camp are choosing a new logo for their summer camp brochure. The choices are sun, lake, and canoe. Each member ranks the 3 choices from first to third. The preference table below shows the results of the ballot. Okay, first question. How many employees voted? 9 plus 5 plus 3 plus 2 should be a total of 19. Okay. Is there a majority winner? Let's see. So if we're going to go majority winner, let's see. We have three options: sun, lake, and canoe. Okay. So sun received 9 votes. Lake received 8 votes because it's those two together. Canoe received 2 votes. Okay. So majority winner would say, I'm going to take 19 and I'm going to divide it by 2. Well, 19 divided by 2 would be 9.5, but I can't really get 9.5 votes. I'd have to go to 10. So majority would be somebody gets 10 votes or more. Is there a majority winner? It does not look like it because nobody here got more than 10, so we would say no. Now, using the plurality method, which just says who got the most first place votes, the emblem of the sun, right? That's the one that had the most, okay? All right, now the second part says, let's do the winner using the Borda count method. So guys, I'm gonna try to zoom out a little bit. It's probably gonna throw me off a little bit. Yeah, it threw me all the way back up here. That's okay, here we go. Okay, Borda count method. So remember how we're gonna do the Borda count method. We are going to look at each of our options. We have sun, lake, and canoe, okay? Sun, lake, and canoe. So for the sun, I'm going to count the number of third place, second place, first place votes. So guys, in this one here, we only have 3 choices, right? So third place is going to get 1 point, second place is going to get 2, third is going to get 3, okay? So sun had 5 third place votes, which are each worth 1 point. They had no second place votes, and they had 9 first place votes. Okay. So if I do this, let's see, that's going to be 5, that's 27, 32 points. Okay. Now let's do the lake. So the lake had no third place votes, but they had 9 and 2. They had 11 second place votes, and they had 8 first place votes. So let's see, that's 22 and 24, that's 46, okay? And I'm just gonna clean up some of this mess here. We're gonna do it again for the canoe. So the canoe had 9 and 5, that's 14 third place votes. And they had 3 second place votes, and they had 2 first place votes. So if I do this here, let's see, that's 14 plus 6 plus another 6 would be 26. So using the Borda count method, the lake is the one that had the most. So that would be my winner, right? Okay, using the Borda count method. All right, and so the same problem, now we're going to go with plurality with elimination, okay? So plurality with elimination. So guys, remember when we did the plurality, the one that had the least number of first place votes was the canoe. So that's the one we're going to get rid of, okay? So I'm going to make this table again. I'm going to go number of votes. Okay, I'm still going to have 9, 5, 3, and 2. Okay. The nice thing about this problem, guys, is that since there was only 3, once we get rid of 1, we should be good. So remember, we're getting rid of everything that has a canoe. Okay. All right. So this is still going to be S. This will still be L. This will be L. These are getting shifted up. So that'll be L. This will be S. This is going to move up, which is S. That is still S. This is still L. Okay. All right. So now I'm just going to count. First place votes. Let's see. The sun still has 9. And the lake has 5 and 3, which is 8, and 2 more, which is 10. Here is my majority, and that's my winner by plurality with elimination, okay? Because, again, guys, I'm only looking at my first place votes, and whoever has a majority would be the winner, okay? That is 14.1, the last video. Dry your eyes because I know you're sad.